legitimately the worst. Of the major revivals of shows from my childhood, or something that I loved from my youth that have been brought back, hardly any of them have lived up to the expectations that have been placed onto them by either their creators or the fandom. And I think that it's a lot to deal with the fact that many of these shows were amazing and iconic in the period that they came from, and not necessarily transcend anything to become more than just a cult classic show that was well written and fun, but had a lot of serious flaws that were tied into its original creator and its original makeup. And I think this revival, despite people having very mixed or angry feelings about season 7, which I most certainly do have myself, so I get it. I get it. This, to me, did not give me any serious closure. There were some good things, but there were some whoa mama terrible things going on in here. And I will try to just run through how I feel about this. I have so many notes. Let's begin with Winter. I missed the opening theme song. I was wondering how they were going to put that in there, if they would do it at all, but they didn't. And I was honestly disappointed by that from the very beginning. I was like, I really wanted them to like update the opening credits. They're so iconic. They're a huge part of the franchise. So I was sad to see them go. But Winter, we get the first, you know, Rory's back. She's going back and forth through London. She wrote some article for the New Yorker. She's working on this book with Alex Kingston, who's really fun in her role, and I really enjoyed her. And she's back in Stars Hollow to visit her mom and be the adorable daughter. Luke and Lorelai have been together for about 9 years, dating. And in this relationship, they're partners, like domestic partners. And we get a flashback once we go to Friday night dinner, where we see this giant portrait of Richard, which, like, I know Lorelai and Emily have their beef, but I just feel like in this episode, Lorelai was doing the absolute most. Like, okay, there's this giant portrait of your grandfather, your dad. Like, we get it. She probably did not intend for it to look this way, but why do you have to come and beat her up about it? Like, it's there. Let it be. Leave Emily alone. Like, Lorelai's always doing the most in the most inappropriate times. But then we flash back to the funeral. And let me just say this, guys. At the funeral, which was beautiful. The funeral was beautiful. It was sad. I loved watching the girls be together. Like, it was heartbreaking, and it made me think about Edward Herrmann. And I hope that he would think that was a beautiful tribute to him and his character. And Kelly Bishop, who looks amazing, just played the grieving widow so well this entire mini-series. I really, really loved it. But anyway, the first thing that I noticed when I was looking at the crowd shot, I was like, Christopher is not at this fucking funeral. And I immediately was like, this is what I said. Unless he's there for drama, he's not in the show. Like, why would Christopher not be at Richard's funeral? He's known these people his entire life. He was married to their daughter, their grandchild. Like, his daughter. It's because he's not important if he's not there to create drama. And this entire season wants to erase it. Christopher and Lorelai and Rory worked out all of their problems in season 7 because he's just a non-factor until the very last episode where Rory goes to talk to him, and I'll get to that later. But it just was like, he's ignored. Fucking Digger is there, who I love. I was like, hey Digger. I was like, yes, Digger's here, yay. But like, Digger was there, but not Christopher. I can't. And I was like, well, he's a flake. By season 7, they established that he was not doing that anymore. He was being there for Rory. He was committed to being there for this family in his own way. This is retconning the situation in a negative way. Like, we are past this point, and it's just lazy writing. I hate it so fucking much. But then, you know, Rory has to go to London for whatever the fuck, and at the end of the night, Emily wants everyone to tell stories about Richard, and Lorelai just fucks herself. Like, it just, and I hated Lorelai so much in that scene. I hated it so much. And like, even though Emily read her to filth and was like a little harsh towards the end, I was like, you know what though, Emily? You ain't lying, because Lorelai is selfish and she doesn't think about other people all the time. And like, seriously, I know that you had a rough relationship with your parents, but like, you and your father got along better than you and your mom. And the first thing I thought of as like a story that she could tell was like back in, I don't know if it was season 1 or season 2, but it's in one of the earlier seasons where like Lorelai is gonna sneak out through her window, and she's like, Dad, don't tell on me. And he's like, Emily, she's not up here. And she's like, thank you, Daddy. Like, that's such a cute, iconic moment of like them being in sync that I was just kind of like, that would be the first thing that would come to my mind. That's the first thing that came to my mind. But Lorelai just goes off this thing about how like she was having sex with some kid and how she gets left behind in some trunk. And I'm just like, dude, this is not appropriate. This is just not fucking appropriate. Like, it's not quirky. It's not cute. It's just annoying as fuck. And I was like, when Emily read her to Phil, I was like, Emily, you know what? You being cold-blooded as fuck right now, but like, I'm with it. Because she was just doing the absolute most. I hated Lorelai so much that scene. Like, I can't even explain. Like, it was just so trashy. Lane looks exactly the same, and it's so cute to see her, like, even though she's still with Zach, at least she's happy, she's married, she still plays. Paul Anka is still alive. And then Rory was living in Brooklyn. Like, of course you were. You're such a cliche. But then they brought in Paul. Paul was a lame-o. I was like, who's this? Sorry, lame-o is, that's not the right term. Okay. He was so basic. I was like, who the fuck is Paul? And I did feel bad that everyone was just making it seem like, yeah, this is Paul. You can cheat on him, Rory. Who gives a fuck? I was like, Rory, why are you dating a dude for 2 years that you don't like at all? Like, Paul, seriously? It was just so bland. I love Cesar's hair. I'm just looking through, like, all of my notes. Michelle coming out, which was, like, I think a lot of people guessed that Michelle was gay, and so they were picking up on that, you know, gay or bisexual, because it is implied that he likes women early on, but maybe that was a front. But he is gay in this new revival, and he's with this man named Frederick, and who wants him to have kids, but Michelle's like, fuck that shit. And I'm kind of like, oh my god, Michelle. He was so good in this series. I think that not having Suki around, while that was definitely a loss, it allowed Michelle to have more of a storyline than he's ever really had before, and I was definitely appreciative of that. Rory keeps going back and forth to London, and she's like, I'm broke! You're not broke, girl. Your grandfather just died. I'm sure that you have so much money right now. You're just an idiot. Plus, that would mean that she blew through her fucking trust in, like, 7 years. Like, what the fuck? Like, there's no way that Richard and Emily left his money. And also, because we know, like, this is, well, spoiler alert, I guess, like, that she's fucking Logan. You know Logan's fucking paying for her to go back and forth from one to Stars Hollow. So, like, where's all your money going, girl? Why do you have an apartment in Brooklyn? First of all, please don't live in Brooklyn. Like, don't be more of a white girl cliche. Just stop it. But, like, this is what's happening. Yeah, I put Christopher's at the funeral. I don't fucking believe that. Inconceivable. Like, that's my note. The picture from their vow renewal at the funeral, that wrecked me. But yeah, like, them truth bombs. April's going to MIT work. The fact that Luke and Lorelai have been together for 9 years and haven't discussed kids in, like, what would be, like, 11 years makes zero sense. It's like, I hate when I do this, when, like, relationships have been put on like, an indefinite pause. Like, you guys are in your 40s now. Like, you're almost 50 years old. You guys should have talked about kids before. You wanted kids before Lorelai. This was established in season 6 that you wanted to have kids with Luke. So why this is happening now, I don't understand. And then I like the fact that they went to go, like, talk about a surrogate. I like that they kind of, like, showed that it's okay that you can't biologically have kids. I hated what Luke said about adoption. I was like, dude, you're, like, see, Luke, still don't like him, but they did, and get into it later, but I still don't like Luke. I didn't like him in this scene. But Paris is amazing. Paris is my favorite character on the show. It's over. Done. Finito. Paris is the best character on the show. And Liza Wiesel came here and put her whole bob into this. Like, she was so good as Paris, and I felt for her, and I just, and I love how she looks out for Lorelai. She's like, oh, I'm gonna help you out. You're basically the only mother I ever had. I was like, Paris, you are the best. Oh yes, and then, you know, when we see that, like, you know, Rory is talking to somebody. Oh, that's my eye makeup. Totally forgot I was wearing it. Whoopsie. This is what happens when you're trashed for so long, and then you finally decide to beautify yourself, and you forget that, oh no, I can't just wipe my eye anytime I want. Sorry. Anyway, sorry. But, like, when that scene happens and, like, Rory's talking to someone, I'm like, oh, it's fucking Logan. And Logan came out and he looked so good. And I was like, look at it, Rory, my babies. And then the rest of the revival ruined this for me. But at the moment, it was great. And then just, you know, when you see Emily again with like her body shipping Cash and her in jeans. I just Emily this season, beginning here, she's just perfect. And I really think that Kelly Bishop has done an amazing job as that character. And I loved watching them interact. And they finally are being a little bit modern about going to therapy. Kinda. It's still kind of implied that it's kind of looked down upon, but I appreciate them going. But just like the whole idea that Lorelai has to lie about Luke about if she wants a baby or not, it's just so, that's so season 6, season 7, like we are beyond this point. Like there is no reason why this is this thing that we have to keep talking about with this couple. It didn't seem right to me. I didn't like it at all. So episode 2, Spring. Mrs. Kim, we get to see her, and I was like, what? As my girl, and we get to see Mr. Kim, which, as soon as I saw that Daniel wrote this episode, I'm like, we're gonna have mad trolling this episode. Jackson is there, but no Suki, fine. And I love how Alex, like, her character's like, I hate England, I'm gonna vote for Brexit, a protest vote, it'll never happen. I'm just kind of like, oh, too soon, Amy, too soon. But I definitely feel like, you know, Rory and Logan, it was all cute and fine until you realize that Logan has a fiance and Rory knows about this and they're fucking on the low, and like they're both cheating on their partners with each other. And this is where this relationship begins to like be fucked for me. Like this always happens. Every couple I like in a revival gets fucked over. Sean and Angela, it's just this upsets me because in season 7, Rory and Logan, they are in a good place, but then Logan wants to propose to Rory, and she says no, they break up. Why would they, like 9 years later, just be like low-key fucking and doing so while they're both involved with other people? Like, I don't, like, the idea that she just wants Logan's dick that badly, like, I mean, I do, but I don't see Rory being that way because, like, Rory loved Logan, definitely, but she also, like, was pissed at him about Bridesmaid Gate. How is this the same person? And also, you already played this game girl with Dean and Lindsay, and here you are doing the exact same thing. Rory, this series is one of the worst things ever. And I already dislike Rory. I already said that she's the worst. This just proved it. She's a terrible, terrible, stupid, garbage person who thinks she's better than everybody else, thinks she's better than all the other third subjects that are back at their apartments with their parents, thinks she's better than the fucking blog. That's why you can get the job, girl, because you come into the blog not be able to do no pitches. She doesn't know how to do her GQ interviews. She doesn't do any shit. I just was watching her just like, girl, you had everything handed to you on a silver platter of what you could do. And yes, there are plenty of people in their 20s and 30s who are lost, and that rings true. But Rory was legitimately hated everything, and the moment that she doesn't know what the fuck to do with herself. And that is why I hate her as a character. She does not know how to deal with actual conflict. She's just not able to do that. And Mitchum comes in. I'm just so glad that Mitchum is there. I also want to notice that I really enjoyed that Lorelai's sense of style wasn't reduced just because she's older. Because her character would be about like 48 now. And I was glad they didn't try to make her dress in less fashionable, more like homely clothes. Because, you know, she's still vivacious and fun. She wouldn't be someone who would dress like her mother and just all pantsuits all day. I'm glad they still had her fun dresses. Her hair was still teased. She looked really, really good, and I appreciate that in her character. I loved all the cameos with Gilmore-Girls and everything. All the chef cameos were boring as shit. The Chilton reunion was amazing. I love Paris. Rory, I love her whole like, I did this music class and now I can see music. I'm like, girl, when did you take this music class? And then she looks down on people, so I'm like, I was thinking about getting my master's and a PhD, but then, you know, it's like, whatever, no. Like, you're being offered basically a teaching position on a platter, and you're like, I don't know. I wish that I had that opportunity. Like, she's just such a waste. And then the Tristan episode, I didn't get Chad Malcolm Murray there, and I was like, well, okay, but did he even graduate from Chilton? Didn't he get kicked out? I can't remember. But it just, Paris's whole meltdown and everything with her briefcase, and when Frankie came in, I was like, Paris, you are the best thing here. Like, just everything with the briefcase. Paris and the way her character is written just makes me feel for her in every single way. Like, and I'm so sad that her and Doyle are getting divorced. I hope that that gets retconned because, like, they are so cute together. Their children are adorable. I just want Paris to be happy. And I refuse for her not to be. It was all supposed to be Luke when Lorelai is talking to her therapist. Jason Mantzoukas finally made it onto the show. So happy for him. He's not being, like, you know, the sex fiend between, you know, both daughters. But at least he got to be on the show, make a cameo along with the Gilmore guys. So that was a lot of fun. Mae Whitman, the other daughter from Parenthood, she was there. Rory has a one-night stand. And she's, like, totally just freaking out. And it's like, I get it, but at the same time, like, girl, you are 32. You legitimately had affairs twice. Like, you're cheating on Paul with, like, everyone. Like, why are you... she's just the worst. She's the fucking worst. And she got taken to task by some 20-somethings at BuzzFeed. By her twin Sasha. Because, like, if you read the backstory for, like, the actress who played Sasha in Bunheads, who's playing the, Sandra says or Sandy says in this season, and unless it's Bedell backstory, they're both like white Latinas who spoke Spanish as the first language. Both were models before they got discovered to be on this show by Amy Sherman Palladino. They're basically like twins. Like they look exactly the same. Same dark hair, blue eyed shit. It's like she has a type for sure. But yeah, Rory fucking, and first of all, who has 3 phones? 3 phones. Why do you have a work phone that's not issued to you by work? You know this thing called Google Voice, girl. It's 2016. I can't. Rory is so stupid. But yeah, spring was whatever. Rory's dumb. Then we go to summer, which summer they're just sitting there at the beach with the 2 kids, you know, having their parkas over them and fucking making fun of fat people and girls who are, like, dressed in bathing suits at the beach. This is when I was like, Amy, Daniel, like, y'all really have not matured at all. I mean, it's just, it's so bizarre. And I think also in the previous episode, it was the one where they're like, we want to do a LGBT parade, but we don't have any gays in Stars Hollow. And Gypsy's like, Taylor, you don't know any other gays that could do it. I'm just kind of like, you guys are, like, 1 step forward, 7 steps back. Like, there's no gays. Maybe we can get some gays from this other town. Why can't they send us their gays? And I'm just like, can't. No. You guys, you're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. You're trying so hard to be, like, quirky inclusive, but, like, you had Michelle being gay, but then you had to do all this weird, gross, homophobic shit. Like, you guys are just being so weird about this, and I don't get it because it's 2016. Get it together, dudes. Really? And then, like, for the rest of the summer, like, and then, like, April comes, and she's adorable. She goes to MIT. She gets high. You know, good for her. And I love that actress. I think she's really great, so I was happy for her. And then fucking, like, for some reason, like, they get a whole thing of, like, oh, Amber's gonna go to law school, and, like, she's gonna go to, like, get her master's, and, like, you're gonna have to pay for that, and she didn't get full tuition, you had to pay for that. And Lorelai's being weird about it. I'm like, well, of course Luke's gonna pay for it. That's his fucking kid. Like, I don't understand what that has to do with you. She's like, I can help. I'm like, well, girl, why would you need to help? You, not her mama? Like, you know what I mean? Like, Luke has so much money. He always has had, like, an disposable income. Why she was acting like that is beyond me. Then I was so sad about Michelle leaving and, like, going to the secret bar, but I also loved how he was saying that, like, he's just too overqualified and he needs more things, and I felt that was good. I felt like it made sense for his character to want to move on and to actually see him and Lorelai have a real relationship, a real friendship. I felt was very fulfilling because we never really got to have a lot of that with them in this series. Like, there was one time where he's like, you know, we go to Weston's and we get our red velvet cake and whatever, but, you know, at the same time, it's still good to finally see Michelle get his due as a character who was in the opening credits for 7 seasons and never had a serious storyline. So it was great to see, like, finally him getting the respect that he deserves as a character. Then they do this fucking, where, like, the Stars Hollow Gazette's getting closed down. Rory wants to go take it over, so she does it. She posts a paper, and they're like, who puts the papers out? And they just think, like, you take the east side, you take the west side. And they're like, that's the west side, that's the east side. The town is literally a circle. The town is a circle. This is unnecessary. Just fucking, why do you even have this many papers? This many people don't even go to this fucking store. I was just like, girls, this is a lot right now. But, and then they do the Stars Hollow musical, and that shit took forever to end. I mean, I know they wanted to have Sutton Foster in there because, like, she was in Bunheads and she's great, but, like, wow, too much. And Lorelai's the only there with some fucking sense. Everyone's like, it was amazing, it's better than Hamilton. I'm just kind of like, girl, I fast forward through most of it. I'm not even gonna lie, because it was boring. That did not need to be like, that was like, what, 15, 20 minutes of, it was so annoying. I could not even do it. But then Jess comes in, and let me tell you guys something. You know, for this series, for seasons 1 through 7, I'm Team Logan. But I have to tip my hat to the Team Jess fans, because y'all won. Y'all won. Because, and Jess, first of all, he looked great. He was just really cute. His relations with with Luke and with Rory. And, you know, he comes, gives her some good advice, helps her out, says that she should write a book about her and her mother, which was a good idea. Very meta, but a good idea. It makes sense the only thing Rory could write about is her own shit. And he comes, helps her out. I love how he's like there to help Liz and TJ get out of the cult. But he just came in and was like a great fit for what Rory needs. But at the same time, I'd honestly say at this point, Rory does not deserve Jess. Jess, who's adult, got his shit together, stable, publishing press. That Rory does not deserve him at all. Rory's the worst. Sorry. Like, I still have that side eye of Jess for that weird sexual assault, sexual weirdness that he did in season 2, season 3. But he's a mature adult now. He's a good person. Rory's a trash person. He doesn't deserve Rory. Sorry, Rory doesn't deserve him at all. At all. Worst. And we're like, I'm broke. Girl, you're not broke. Your parents are like trillionaires. What's wrong with, what's wrong with her? Rory was the worst. The absolute fucking worst. And I love how when, like, Rory's doing research for the book, it's like Lorelai arriving in Stars Hollow with Rory was literally a news fucking worthy event in the town. Like, of fucking course it was. Of course. And then, like, she's like, Lorelai wants to go to, sorry, whatever. Rory's thinking about moving to Queens, and I was like, girl, please don't. Please don't. Please don't go to Queens. I don't need to have Rory Gilmore in my space. She's just doing the most. And then, Luke has this whole rant going on about his thing afterwards, and Rory's is a bad friend to Lane, but then Lorelai goes to the final thing for the show, and Sutton Foster sings this song that's like all about Lorelai's feelings, and she said she's gonna do wild. She's gonna walk the trail and all this shit, and I'm just sitting here like, of course you're not, Lorelai, but whatever. But she's going to go find herself to find clarity, which is like, okay, girl, have fun with that. And then finally we get to fall. I love all the Parenthood cameos in this episode. I was like, yes. Because I love Parenthood. Parenthood is one of my favorite shows. Also, another note, Rory's outfits are very cute. I like her red skirt and her top and everything. I really enjoy her whole attire. Lorelai's whole, like, midlife crisis thing in this episode, it makes sense because after 9 years of relationship, you know, she probably does want more for her and Luke, but she also doesn't want to be uncomfortable. And, like, the last episode, they had this whole rant about how Luke's like, well, I just do everything you want. You want everything separately. I keep your family apart from my family and everything like that. And I'm just like, Luke, damn! Like, he was just going in on her, and you just see her whole identity just crumbling. But then her reaction to it at the end, after she goes through her clarity thing and calls her mom and like tells her mom about the story about her dad, which was so cute and so sweet, about how she, like, how her and her dad went out to the movies and he bought her a big pretzel. It was so sweet. But when she comes back, she's like, we need to get married. And I was just like, okay, I guess that's the natural reaction to all of this. I mean, I'm not a Luke Lorelai fan on the whole, but his speech to her was very emotional and very good. I still feel like he, as a character, like, all of his grouchiness these past seasons about the surrogacy and the baby and stuff, it just turned me off to him again, because he'll always say and do these, like, low-key, shitty things that are supposed to be taken as just like, oh, he's just a grouch, but it's also like, you don't communicate with this person that you supposedly care about. And the thing about it too is that Luke does very much care for Lorelai, but he cares in how he shows it. He does it by doing things for her and being stable and being there. And basically all Luke is saying is that, like, you can do anything you want to me, and I will never leave you. You can step on me, shit on me, piss on me, burn me, and I will still be here for you. And I'm just like, well, you know, Lorelai, as someone who likes to step over people, you got yourself a keeper. Like, when it comes down to it, that's why they make sense, is because Luke loves Lorelai enough that he will put up with Lorelai at her absolute worst, which no sane person would do. So there you go, Luke and Lorelai for the win. Which, I say this sarcastically, but honestly, the speech, how they got together, the wedding, very satisfying. Even as someone who doesn't like the couple, that's never been a problem for me. I don't really care about the endings in Gilmore-Girls because they're not my favorite characters, Lorelai and Rory, so it's kind of like peripheral, just the drama of the show. But I definitely, for those who love that couple, I hope that this was a fulfilling thing for you. And I'd love to hear how you guys think about it, because I'm sure if you're a Luke Lorelai fan, this was like what you wanted. And, you know, it was great. And then fucking Life Death Brigade. Like, oh man. It's just like, it was like some Panic at the Disco's realness. And then, like, they're so emotionally stunted. But at the same time, I find them charming. I do like them a lot, even though they're kind of corny. And I do feel like this is part of the world that Rory belongs to in her own way. But she hates that part of herself, but it's still a very, very big part of who she is. And even Logan, he's always trying to, like, buy her, or, like, do these things to show affection for her monetarily, because he's not gonna leave Odette. And I don't think Rory wants to ask him to leave Odette either, because, like, I don't know. It just the whole thing is just so weird. Again, we spend so much time with them now being in this relationship and fucking, but it's like, we don't really understand why they're fucking or how they feel about each other. Like, Rory, do you want him to stay? Just say something. Because Logan looked like he was about to be like, if you just stay, I will. But Logan's not going to fuck his shit up for you, because I feel like I said before, Logan is the one who doesn't treat Rory like she's the Queen of Sheba. And he will, like, move on if he has to, where clearly Jess has not, as there's a scene later when he, like, looks at Rory through a window and, like, he looked like he was about to fucking cry. And I was just like, Jess, baby, no, don't get trapped into her web of madness. Like, she's just not, like, she's not it. She's just not. And when she's working on this book, oh, that's the thing, when she said that she's going to work on the book about, her and her mother, Lorelai freaks out, doesn't want to do it because she, like, feels like there's parts of her life that she wanted to keep private and separate from everything else, and they have a little fight about that. And then later on, when Lorelai agrees, like, okay, write the book, try it out, see what happens, she goes to Christopher and asks him how he felt about Lorelai raising her by herself and all these other kind of things. And it's like, again, Christopher basically said the thesis of his character, like, I existed only to be your sperm donor and to cause drama. Otherwise, who am I as a character? And that's basically what Christopher was. Like, he basically is like, don't be too mean to me, but that's it. Like, he doesn't, like, pull any punches about, like, yeah, I wasn't there. He has no passion. It's like, he doesn't defend himself. He doesn't defend his actions. He doesn't even say, like, I just wanted to fucking go. He's just like, your mom, she went and she did all these things and she didn't want to be with me. And I was like, okay, cool. That's it. I feel like, cool, whatever. And I think that too, like, when she said it, I was like, oh yes, answers, insight into Christopher. And it's like, nothing is there. Because no thought is ever given to anything that he does. It's just like, it's so funny for a show that can be so thoughtful and so insightful and so emotionally deep, can sometimes, for the sake of how it wants to tell a narrative, will just carpet bomb anything good about certain characters just to say a narrative. Because that's the thing, like, Logan gets carpet bombed just so that Rory can have the ending that Amy Sherman Palladino intended for Rory to have. Like, that's it. The only redeeming thing for me, besides, like, the Luke and Lorelai stuff, which I'm not that into, but, like, it was still good, was Emily. Like, Emily, her relationship with her maid, which was kind of weird at first because they're like, I don't know what language she speaks. I don't know. But it's basically just, like, Gypsy in a really shitty wig. But I loved seeing Emily open her house to other people to cohabitate, to kind of find a family. She moves to Nantucket. She gives Lorelai money to help expand the Dragonfly Inn, which will keep Michelle there. Suki makes a cameo, which was funny and great. I'm glad McCarthy could come back for that. But, you know, Emily gives Lorelai money to help her out, and then it says, like, just come spend time with me, you and Luke. And I just was so happy that Emily, she gets a job talking about whaling in Nantucket. She finds her peace. And I think I was so delighted for her that if it wasn't for that, I really would not have enjoyed this at all. And then we end with, oh wait, no, I forgot. Dean. Yes, Dean. Dean arrives for a brief second because he has a show that he does on the regular, because he got his own checks. He don't need to spend time on this. But he appears, he's got 4 kids, he lives in Scranton, he's living his life, Rory free, and Rory's like, oh, I want to write a book, and I want you to be in it. He's like, well, what are you going to say? Like, you were like the bestest boyfriend ever, but I still cheated on you with Jess. And I'm just like, you're such a fuck, I hate it so much, because it's just like, Dean, sweet, lovable Dean, the best boyfriend ever, still fucked around. Even when you're great, you're still not great enough. But Dean is living his life, we're living that Rory-free life, and yeah, and then we realize at the end what the final 4 words were, and it's like, Mom, yeah, I'm pregnant. Like, it's like, can you imagine if that had been season 7? Like, can you imagine if the series had ended not with them just talking in the cafe together? It was like, I'm pregnant. And Logan's the father. And apparently what Amy Sherman Palladino said is that Logan is supposed to be the Christopher to Rory's Lorelai. And it's like, Christopher and Logan are not the same. Logan was not a flake, overall. He had his moments, but it was because they didn't know what they were young and they were stupid. But Lorelai and Christopher got pregnant when they were 16. These two are in their fucking 30s. You want to tell me that I keep calling her Lorelai. You want to tell me that Rory Gilmore doesn't have a fucking IUD? She's not on birth control. She just randomly fucking in London, just all hibbly-piggly. Like, what? No. And for what? So she could be pregnant and then to have Jess be the Luke and fucking come out of nowhere and take care of Rory and marry her and have Logan Hunsberger's baby? Like, and also the idea that, like, Logan just would not be with Rory or not try to make a commitment to Rory knowing that she was pregnant. Like, does that even sound like Logan's character to you? It's just so dumb. And why? This is the thing, like, and then Amy Sherman Palladino had the nerve to be like, I don't know why people are so obsessed with Rory and her relationships. That's all Rory has going for her. Rory is a fucking idiot. She's a fucking idiot. She's stupid. She's spoiled. And she's the worst. And I don't know why I would care about anything else but her shitty relationship, because that's the only thing interesting about her life. And you know what? Mitchum was right. Mitchum was right. She don't got it. Because this entire revival has shown that Rory is a terrible journalist, does not have it, and that she was just mediocre. So Mitchum, you are the true hero of the Gilmore-Girls series, because you saw through the bullshit. You waded through that shit, and you saw the truth in Rory Gilmore. And for that, I give my thanks to you. Because Mitchum, you were fucking right. Rory, she don't got it. At all. Well, I would love to hear what everyone else is saying about the revival. I'll leave some of my long-winded notes down below. But yeah, what did you guys think? To me, this was like a B-. Like, it had some good points overall, but just like very little progress for the characters that really mean a lot to me, and that's the secondary characters. And just Rory being there just like dragged it all the way down. It was almost a C+, but honestly, the Emily stuff was just so solid and so good that it truly redeemed most of the things I didn't like about this series, to the point where I'm like, you know what, this is beautiful, this is well written, this is well done. Her fucking rant, her like, this is bullshit at the DAR, I was like, Emily, I want to be you when I grow up, because that was one of the greatest things. She's like, it's bullshit with your hair and your tits, and I was just like, oh my god, Emily just had tits, she just had bullshit 6 times, she don't care about coasters no more, I am living this life. And when she's with Jack, he's like, I'm gonna miss you, and she's like, of course you will. I was just like, Emily, you are the queen. Bow down. So yeah, if it wasn't for Emily Gilmore and Paris and like a little bit of Lane, and of course Rory's still a shit friend to Lane because Rory's a shit. I hope there's not a second season. There is nothing good that can come from that. They barely got together everyone as they did now. People are gonna have other shit to do. I don't care for it. I truly don't. But that is my opinion, just my one lone black girl opinion. What is yours? And the next video I do will be talking more about the future of this channel, what we're going to be doing from now